Hello, everyone. This is Emily, and this is my final project for Business 410 Research Methods for Business. My research topic that I chose was what is the unemployment rate since the pandemic started? I wanted to do it based on different demographics, but to find the research was very extensive. So I settled to find more research about the unemployment rate comparing the years 2019 and 2020. I thought it was best to compare 2019 and 2020 since it would show the significant impact that COVID 19 had on the unemployment status on the United States. I was able to locate research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, U.S. Department of Labor Statistics. The data that I was able to locate is the population in 2019 and 2020, the civilian labor force in 2019 and 2020. And if many of you do not know what the civilian labor force is, it is the sum of the civilian employment and civilian unemployment. And these individuals are civilians, not members of the armed services, who are age 16 years and older and are not in institutions such as prisons, mental hospitals, or nursing homes. The data also includes the total number of individuals that were employed in 2019 and 2020, unemployed in 2019 and 2020, and it shows the unemployment rates from 2019 and 2020. And as you can see here, this was how I was able to organize the data so that I was able to create my visualizations. In this column, I have the states. In this column, I have the states organized by each region. This column has the population of each state, and just to let you all know, this number is actually in thousands, so you would have to add 3 zeros at the end. So this number would be 2,885,000. In this column, this is the civilian labor force. This is in this column right here, this is the number of individuals that were employed. In this column, this is the number of individuals that were unemployed. And here is the column with the years. So I have it separated by 2019 and 2020, and you can see for each column, for example, Connecticut, this is all of the data for 2019, and in this row right here, this is all of the data for 2020. And in this column right here is the unemployment rates for each state as well. The rise in the number of unemployed workers due to COVID-19 is substantially greater than the increase due to the Great Recession, when the number unemployed increased by 8.8 million from the end of 2007 to the beginning of 2010. The Great Recession, which officially lasted from December 2007 to June 2009, pushed the unemployment rate to a peak of 10.6% in January 2020, considerably less than the rate currently, according to a new Pew Research Center analysis of government data. The annual average unemployment rates rose in 2020 in all regions, divisions, and states, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Employment population ratios decreased across all of these geographic areas as well. The U.S. jobless rate increased by 4.4 percentage points from the prior year to 8.1%, while the national unemployment ratio fell by 4.0 points to 56.8%. The deterioration in the labor market in 2020 reflected the impact of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic and the efforts to contain it. This visualization shows a comparison of the unemployment rate in 2019 and 2020 by region. As you can see, the highest increase in the unemployment rate were the regions West and South. In 2019, they both had an average unemployment rate of 3%, and in 2020 the rate doubled to almost 6%. This visualization shows a comparison of the number of individuals that were unemployed in 2019 and 2020 for the Middle Atlantic region. And this region includes the states of New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. As you can see, out of all three, the number of individuals that were unemployed increased extensively from 2019 to 2020 in the state of New York. You can see the line is much more steeper compared to New Jersey and Pennsylvania. This visualization shows the number of individuals unemployed by state in 2019 to 2020. In 2019, you can see that the circles are much more smaller compared to 2020. In 2020, you can see that the circles start to get larger as the number of individuals that are unemployed starts to increase. So for example, California, you can see the circle is this small, and then in 2020, it grows to a larger circle. The visualization shows the population of the South region states and the number of individuals that were unemployed in 2020. The South region includes Delaware, Washington, D.C., Florida, Georgia, Maryland, North Carolina, and South Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. And you can see in the state of Florida, the population was almost 17,647,000, and the number of individuals that were unemployed were 781,000. And this visualization shows a comparison of the unemployment rate for 2019 and 2020 in all states. You can see that in 2019, the circles were much more lighter, and as the unemployment rate starts to increase, the circles get much darker in the states that were affected from the pandemic. The states that were still lighter have not been affected as much. What I learned from the data I was able to obtain and the outputs is that the pandemic has affected much larger states due to the population in these states, and that even though other states might have a much smaller population, they still had an increase in its unemployment rate and the number of individuals that were unemployed. Also, based on the data that I was able to obtain, the population mostly stayed consistent, but in each state, the unemployment rates increased in every single state. Thank you for watching.